Welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how to create your dream life. The last couple of episodes, we've talked about creating high-value friendships, doing high-value things so that you have that high-value lifestyle. And this is all indicative of having and creating your dream life. If you've read my book, you've read the chapter about my dream life, how I realized what I had was not really what I wanted, what I thought was my dream life was. So today we're going to help you unpack that. If you're new to my channel, if you're new to my podcast, welcome. I'm Flora, minimalism mentor, simplification coach, and 7-time author. For over 25 years, I've been helping women like you align into a life and or a business that you are wildly obsessed with by helping you clear the 9 types of clutter that are keeping you stuck. What are those 9 types of clutter? They are mental, spiritual, emotional, digital, financial, daily, body, process, and environmental clutter. My YouTube page is where I share my environmental decluttering tips. And here on the podcast, I share with you how to declutter the rest. Please subscribe or follow this feed so you get notified every time an episode is released. Now, before we begin, if you are looking for an ambitious and collaborative mentor, I am now accepting applications for private clients. Click the link in the show notes. Let's jump on a call and let's see if a collaboration with me, with us together is a great fit. Today, we're going to talk about how to create your dream life. How do you know what your dream life is and what your dream life isn't? If the mental picture that you have in your brain or inside of the way that things should be doesn't match your reality, you're not living your dream life, okay? If what you see in your surroundings, who you're hanging out with, the job that you're doing, it's just all an irritation, you got some work to do. But usually people are a lot closer to their dream life than they actually think that they are. Now, creating your dream life is so much easier than most people realize. First of all, what do you want? Get honest with yourself about what you actually want. Now, where did you get this idea? When I first realized what I thought I wanted wasn't really what I wanted, I was like, hang up, hold up, what's going on? So again, if you've read my book, you've heard my aha moment where I thought I wanted the big house, all the cars, all the things. And when I got it, I wasn't happy. And I was like, what's going on here? And I realized, wait a minute, this is what I've been told success looks like. This is what I've been kind of told through my surroundings, through my pedigree. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. And I realized I don't want all that stuff. I want the freedom to travel on a moment's notice, to do as little housework as possible, and to just, have the freedom of mobility. And so that's one of the things that I started doing. When I realized that I didn't want that anymore, I also realized, wait a minute, having a big house with all the things while raising kids is actually quite beneficial. So I knew that I needed to be very intentional with the shift that I was creating in my life. So I knew that I wanted to finish raising my kids in the big house. And once they were out, once they both joined the service, I started to then start downsizing and downsizing and downsizing and downsizing. And again, I went from, when I made that realization, I had that 2,000 square foot house. We then sold it, downsized, and went into a 1,400 square foot house, downsized even more, and then moved here into a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, which is perfect. I absolutely love it. Now, the cool thing about this is when I downsized my home, when I downsized my belongings, I actually was able to upsize and grow my business in a way that felt sustainable and so good and so easy and so simple. And the amount of travel that I've done is out of this world. I love it. No pun intended. I haven't gone to space. I don't want to. I do that when I sleep. Just kidding. And it's also allowed me to grow my bank account as well, just as a result of me living more in my purpose and actually living in my dream life. And that's something for those of you who have done the work that clear out all the BS. You know that naturally, as a byproduct, and this might sound a little bit too woo-woo for some, but as a byproduct of living your authentic self, you naturally start to make more money. You get the raises. Those clients that are your dream clients start coming in. Magic happens. True magic happens. When you allow yourself to start to really hone in on what specifically you want, you start to save time, save money, save energy. You minimize expenses. And not just the expense of financial expenses. You start to minimize the expense of your time and your attention and those things that no longer add value to your life because it's not part of the life that you want. So allowing yourself to really get crystal clear on what you want. And I literally talk about this like 24/7. What season of life are you in? What are your priorities within that season? What are the goals around those priorities? I mean, and then pick one per priority. That's what you want. That's the type. I mean, and it's so simple. It's so simple. And that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't do it, because it is so simple. But that's why we got this podcast, so that I can help you work the magic in your life. I had a client years ago. I'm actually, still working with her. But years ago, when she realized, I don't want to do this. Like, her dream life, what she thought was her dream life was a homestead and all this stuff. She was exhausted. And like I said, she realized, she's like, I'm lazy. I don't want to do all this stuff. And I said, what about slow living? She goes, oh, what's that? And I shared with her slow living. And she's like, yes, screw the homestead. I want slow living. So then she realized, wow, you know what? I'm so close to already having that. Like, a large majority of my life is already pretty damn slow. And I love that. But the homesteading piece is a lot of work. Well, they were in the process of already downsizing their hunting dogs, downsizing their animals that they had, decluttering her home. And once she was done downsizing all that stuff, she's like, oh my God, Flora, this is amazing. And she couldn't believe how quickly she was able to move from chaos to all of a sudden living her dream life. She's like, oh my God, what do I do now? So one of the things that I want you to do is reflect on, again, look at what is the mental picture that I have as a dream life, and where did I get this idea from? Where did I get this idea that I need the big cars or the homestead or whatever it is that your dream life is? Grab your journal. We all love this. And say, what is my dream life? What is the ideal creme de la creme? Like, if I had all the money, all the time, all the things, whatever, what is my dream life? And just write it out and just ask yourself, do I like this picture? Like, if I had this, would I be happy? Some people aren't happy just in general, no matter what they have. That's a whole nother can of worm. That's a whole nother podcast. It's probably a podcast series. But think about it. It's like, okay, literally think, feel, really just get all visceral in it and be like, how does this feel that this is my dream life? Does it feel good? Does it feel uplifting? Do you feel motivated? Do you feel excited? If not, okay, back it up and say, what do I want? Because you can always start fresh. Always. Those of you who have been with me for years, you've seen me reinvent myself so many times. You've seen me go, yeah, I don't resonate with that anymore. Yeah, I'm good with that. And it's usually because, it's always as a result of the work that I do. I'm always doing self-work. This is my I am journal. This is the one where I name it and claim it and say, I am this, I am this. Many of these things in this journal are already in my life. But that's because I name it and claim it, and I'm still naming it. I'm still claiming it. Those of you who know Neville Goddard's work, he has a whole chapter, a whole big section on the I am, the power of the I am, and claiming it. Does the dream life that you have, does that resonate? Does it feel exciting? Does it feel good? If not, regroup and say, what do I want? And you can reinvent yourself. Now, again, this always typically happens as a result of the self-work that you do. You can know all the things. You can read all the books, take all the courses, hire all the coaches, but if you don't actually sit and do the work, you're not going to see results. I had this client for a couple of years who took course after course after, so she's working with me, and she also took this course and this course and this course and this, and she was complaining that she wasn't getting any results. And I'm like, okay, stop, full stop. Okay, why do you feel that you need to take another class? Why do you feel that you need to, do this podcast or do that or do this or do, and she's just like, and I'm like, you're creating more clutter in your life, truly. And then I would give her exercises and work to do and all these, and she wouldn't do it. Or she would say, okay, yeah. And she would gloss over it, but not actually sit and do the work. And that is something a lot of intellectuals, a lot of people that follow me are intellectuals. We love books. We love all the thought stuff. But I'm telling you right now, and this was my hang up for a long time, is I didn't want to sit still and do the work. Until I did that, I was only getting partial results. When I sat my butt down in a chair or on the floor with my dog or my cats, and I started to write out and do the actual work. And it's not just journaling. It's not just writing. It's that self-reflection. It's that pondering. It's that thinking. Those of you who have been following me know that I love this book, How Successful People Think. Give yourself permission to think about your life. How can I allow myself to strategically create the life I want? First, figure out what you actually want. What season of life are you in? This is huge. So many people do not take into account the season of life that you're in. If you want to build a business and you're raising your kids, you need to get support. You need to get help, whether with the kids or in building the business. You can't do both on your own. Can you? Yes, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be very challenging. I know because I did it. Okay. And so anyway, allow yourself the privilege to do the work, to sit down, make time to sit down and say, what is the piece of clutter that is getting in my way the most? I have single sessions available. Click the link in the show notes. I can help you. If you're not clear, if you really are just like, I love my life, but this keeps getting in the way, or I don't know what keeps getting in the way. Part of it could be you're not living your dream life. You're trying to force yourself into a life that you've built that you thought you wanted that you don't really want. And now you're kind of stuck here and you're like, and you're not happy, or you're partially happy in most parts of your life, but you then feel kind of disconnected and disjointed. All of this comes with, one, doing the work, but two, sitting and saying, what do I want? And often when I ask people, what do you want? I asked you that at the beginning of this podcast episode. A lot of people don't know. So that's numero uno. What do you want? What's not working out? What's going on in my life that kind of shit's going sideways? And then I need to pick that apart and declutter it. Get rid of that. Once those pieces are decluttered, all of a sudden you start to get into this flow. You start to know exactly who you are. You start to know exactly what your purpose is. And then everything else just kind of falls away and you start really living in that space of authenticity. And and they're actually proving now that being in your authentic self is a higher vibrational frequency than the vibration of love. If the mental picture of what you think you want doesn't line up with what you have, let's do some work. First thing, reflect on your relationships. Reflect on your job. Reflect on your calendar. And look at, what relationships do you have that are not in alignment with your dream life? What do you have a job that is in alignment with your dream life? And this is one of the things I talked about with many of my clients is your purpose does not have to be in alignment with your job. Your job could just be your job that just pays the bills. That's okay. That's okay. It doesn't have to be this grandiose thing, It could just be I'm doing this or I'm doing that, and my purpose is to do this other thing. You know what I mean? So the things that are on your calendar, on your day planner, this is my calendar. The things that are on your calendar, do they align and match up with your priorities? with the season of life that you're in, with your dream life? How much material clutter is hanging around that you never use that are part of your historical self or part of that future dream life version of yourself that you've never committed to bringing into the present? It just always stays in that elusive future for somewhere, sometime, somehow. I will eventually start doing that. Well, my advice, if you got a racquetball stuff in your closet and that's this future version of yourself plays racquetball, bring it out, dust it off, and put that on your calendar. I'm going to go play racquetball. Perfect. See if you still like it. See if you even ever liked it. See if you want to do it. Okay? The happiest people that I know, including myself, we know what we want. We know what we want because we have done the self-work. How do you do the self-work? Do I like my life? What do I want? Do I think I can get it? Who am I surrounding myself with? Basically, this entire podcast teaches you how to know yourself deeply through and through. Again, I have spots open for coaching that are available. I've got single sessions. I've got 90-day sprints available. Click the links, all the links. Let's talk, because when you know yourself, you become the happiest person that you know. You truly do. You start to just live life from this place of excitement and passion, and you feel so alive. Even like I'm high vibe, I am not high energy. Anybody that knows me personally will tell you that. Yes, I could walk for days. I love walking. I love hiking, but I'm a high vibe person. I'm not high energy. I have a whole podcast about that, but I'm so deeply happy that just everything just radiates. Every one of my friends is like this because, again, I surround myself with those people who know who they are. And that was part of the vision that I had for my dream life is, and I write this every single day in my I Am journal. I am surrounded by positive, forward-thinking people. I am surrounded by positive, forward-thinking people. I wrote that, oh my gosh, for years before it was true. Does it have to take years for you? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay? So, what do you want your life? First of all, what do you want? Again, what do you want? What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your life to feel like? And I want you to be as specific as possible. Okay? What do you want it to look like? What do you want it to feel like? And what has to be true in order to make this happen? What has to be true in order? Oh, so let's just say that you want to start traveling. Do you have a passport? If you don't have a passport, that's step number one. Go get a passport. Go online, fill out the application, print it off, go get your picture taken, and they won't let you smile, which is weird, but get your picture taken, submit it, get your passport, okay? If you want to be debt-free, stop using your credit cards. Read a financial book, listen to a financial podcast, hire a financial coach. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want it to feel like? And again, this is the most important question. What has to be true in order to make this happen? What has to be true in order to make this happen? If you want to build wealth, start investing. If you don't know how, read a book. Again, listen to a podcast, take a class, watch YouTube videos. If you want anything in life badly enough, you got to just decide to do it. You've heard me talk about this before. Most people won't make a change until they have to, until they hit that breaking point. You can just be done with not having your dream life, or you can just be done with XYZ. You can be done having whatever type of clutter in your life that keeps getting in the way. You can just be like, I'm done. Because that's how people change. That's how things shift is I'm finished. Kind of like if you're done drinking milk. If you're, okay, this gallon is empty. Let me buy a different gallon. Oh, wait, I'm going to stop drinking milk. Okay, what do you drink instead of milk? I don't know. Google milk alternatives. See, ooh, there's cashew, there's coconut, there's almond, there's soy, there's all kinds of things. Explore. Failure is just an indicator that that was an option, but not the best option for you. All right, cool. I didn't like coconut milk. Now I'm going to try cashew milk. Didn't like that. Now I'm going to try almond milk. Didn't like that. Now I'm going to try soy. Ding, ding, ding. I like soy milk or whatever you like the best. Some people call it failure. No. It's just, okay, you tried that. That wasn't the best option. All right, let's keep searching. Let's keep playing. Let's keep trying until you find an option that fits into the life that you have for yourself, that dream life that you have in your brain, that I want to live this type of life. But all you have to do is just decide what type or what kind of life do I want. And honestly, like, why would you want anything in your life that doesn't align with your dream life? Really? Why would you keep anything that isn't part of the life that you're creating? I want to share with you an excerpt from one of my journals that I wrote over 10 years ago that really impacted me and kind of made me stop in my tracks. And so I wrote, the resistance or force that you feel when trying something new is the old version of me trying to fit into the new life or new version of me. Let your old self go and see what happens when you discover the new version of you. This is big, okay? The resistance or force you feel when trying something new is the old version of you trying to fit into the new life that you're building or the new version of yourself. Let your old self go. That's part of decluttering, is recognizing what served me yesterday might not serve me today. What served me today might not serve me tomorrow. So anytime you feel resistance when you're doing something new, when you're sitting down and you're doing the work, when you're sitting down and asking yourself, what is my dream life? What do I actually want? And you feel resistance of, well, maybe I shouldn't want this. Who cares? Who cares what anybody else thinks? If you want this, want it. It's okay that your dream life is different than everyone else's. I live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment. It's perfect for me. Other people might be like, oh, hell no. I would not live in something like that. I love it. The pool is literally right outside my door. I love it. I love the area. There's so much hiking. There's so much open space. It's perfect for me. I rent. I love that. Other people is like blasphemous because you rent. That's okay. This is my dream life, and it's perfect for me. There's another fabulous quote that I heard years ago that, again, stopped me in my tracks. Right when I read it, I was like, oh, hell yes, this is so good. And it says, we are kept from our goals, not by obstacles, but by a clear path to lesser goals. We are kept from our goals, not by obstacles, but by a clear path to lesser goals. That's by Robert Brault. Huge. Another one. I wrote down several quotes for you guys. The results you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Again, doing that self-work. Sitting down and getting really raw and honest. What season of life am I in? Am I raising babies? Am I single? What's your life situation? That's the season that you're in, okay? What are my priorities? What do I want? What do you want? What do you want? Get honest with yourself. And then when you're clear with what you want, start decluttering all the things that are not part of that dream life, okay? That are not part of what you actually want. Sometimes this means to stop fighting what you know you want and just do what you know needs to be done. Again, if you're looking for a collaborative mentor, click the link. Let's talk. Let's make some magic happen. Let's also continue this conversation and support each other in building the lives that we are not only obsessed with, but are genuinely full of joy and so much fulfillment. If you're listening to this on YouTube, I invite you to share your experiences with actively and intentionally creating your dream life in the comments below. If you are listening to this on any podcast streaming service, email me, Flora@florasage.com. Share your comments with me. If you found today's podcast episode helpful, please subscribe, share with your friends, leave a review. Your support and engagement with this podcast and this video will help more people who are looking to declutter their lives find these videos and find this podcast so that they can align into that life that they are wildly obsessed with. Remember, all it takes is a clear vision of what you want and the willingness to take one small shift, a little 1 degree of a shift in that direction daily to align into a life that you love. I hope this serves you. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. Mwah!